to the Forum. They're not going to miss this one with the Chicago Bulls paying their first and only regular season visit to Los Angeles, at least to play the Lakers. Hey, even Kramer is here. And Diane Cannon wouldn't miss a game against the Nuggets or the Grizzlies. Certainly she's going to be here when the Bulls hit the floor against the Lakers. Hi, everybody. Bob Costas along with Isaiah Thomas. Tip-off just around the corner, but quickly everybody's talking about Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan.
Oh, well, this is the matchup that everybody's been waiting to see here in Los Angeles. You got the teacher versus the student. Kobe's trying to rob Michael of all his moves, trying to steal his talent, trying to steal his knowledge. Michael is trying to teach Kobe a lesson, trying to give him the experience, the youth, to the wisdom that what he once had. Kobe has a chance to be what Michael is in this league. It's going to take him some time to get there, but he's up to the challenge and he's up to the test today, Bob.
We'll check with Ahmad Rashad. We'll show you the opening lineups and have the tip-off when we return to the Great Western Forum for part 2 of today's NBA doubleheader on NBC. All 5 losses the Lakers have sustained at home have come against the East. Boston, New Jersey, Cleveland, Charlotte, and Philadelphia have all come in here and beaten the Lakers in their house. Pippen, Rodman, Longley, Harper, and Jordan, but changes for the Lakers. Corey Blunt in at forward. Robert Horry with a strained abdominal muscle will not play, and all-star Nick Van Exel also not suiting up. He's got a hip flexor, and Derek Fisher, the second-year man out of Arkansas Little Rock, draws the start. Van Exel and Horry in street clothes.
It'll be interesting to see how Shaq comes out and approaches this game. I talked to him yesterday, and he really wants to come out. He sees Chicago and Jordan as a team that they may be playing against in the finals, and he wants to come out and set the tone and set the tempo for his team early. They've got off to a few sluggish starts in the past, the last 3 or 4 games, and he wants to come out tonight and establish himself in the middle with his dominance.
Shaq to jump against Longley, Chicago ball. In December at the United Center, the Bulls prevailed 104-83. Never a game. They jumped out in front 27-5 in the first quarter. But no Shaq, no Pippen for that one. Pippen with the game's first shot. Both he and Michael were ice cold at Golden State on Friday night. Somehow they managed to win 87-80, but they were a combined 10 for 40. Pippen 8 for 23. Michael, one of the worst performances of his career, 2 of 17. Here is Fisher. And Shaq with Longley trying to defend against him. Shoots it over and hits, plus the foul.
Now, the first thing that you'll notice about Chicago and L.A., Chicago comes out, they have a lot of movement in their triangle offense. L.A. comes down and they throw it right into the post into Shaq. He'll try to work his man one-on-one. They came over on the double team. Shaq had the strength and the presence to power through the move.
Only 49% from the line, and that won't help it. The foul was on Harper coming over on the double team. Pippen, who says he likes to play against Western Conference teams because the style tends to be more wide open. Jordan misses his first one. Fisher to the foul line for the jumper. He had 4 points and 9 assists without any turnovers, playing in place of the injured Van Exel in a Friday win over the Timberwolves.
But what Fisher gives them that Van Exel doesn't, he's more of a classic point guard. He comes down, he knows how to feed the post, he knows how to run a team.
Longley hooks and hits. He had a career-high 23 against the Lakers on 10 of 13 from the floor in December. But that was with Shaq not playing. He hits that one over O'Neal. Rick Fox, he scored 30 in one of his best performances in recent seasons. Friday here against Minnesota. Starts with a bucket against the Bulls. Lakers 7, Chicago 4. Opening 2 minutes. Puts it behind the back and hits from the foul line.
That's a nice fadeaway by Jordan. He struggled the other night. He wants to come in tonight and get off early. Doesn't want to get off to a bad shooting start.
Fox lets it go and overshoots it. Jordan has the rebound. You can tell this is a big game. Even just past noon, it is not a late arriving crowd at the Forum. Jordan, 2 for 3.
See, that's what he wants to do. He wants to get into his rhythm early. You know, he's got the bounce. You know, this is a big game. The energy is in the building. You can look at the players' faces and tell that this is something that they want to come out tonight and prove to each other who is really the best.
Eddie Jones takes it underneath and brings it back up top to Fisher. Stripped by Pippen. Back he comes in transition. Dishes to Michael. Well, that's what Pippen was talking about. He's a transition player, and you tend to get a more wide-open game against teams like the Lakers and the Suns and some of the other clubs out west.
But what made that play happen was that they ran their lanes wide. You know, they came down and they were able to finish on the fast break. Now, Michael wants to come out early. He takes it behind his back here, and he's going to shoot the little fade away. Now you'll see him here. He uses the screen set by Longley, the pump fake, the fundamentals, the simple fundamentals of the game is what makes him great.
Last foul was on Longley, his first. Laker ball from the side. Shaq missing off the baseline. Pippen left alone for 3. Rodman with his first rebound and a great feed to Longley, who's fouled on the play by Blunt.
Now on the fast break, you see Pippen comes down and Jordan has ran the lane wide, which lets him have the ability to go up and elevate over Rick Fox. Michael loves to come into the Forum and play. He's averaging 30 points, and he wants to put on the show. This is the time when, as a player, you want to come in and perform for the stars because they perform for you every night on TV, and you get a chance to come in and perform for them. So this is when you really want to bring out your A game.
Longley hits them both. Michael's single greatest Forum memory. Pippen 2, the 91 finals. The first of their 5 championships. Rick Fox off a good feed from Shaquille O'Neal.
But Shaquille is multi-talented. He can pass on the fast break. He can pass out of the post. He's a big presence underneath defensively and offensively, and he draws so much attention.
Harper. The Lakers trailing 12-9 come back, and Jones looks to tie it, but can't. Gets his own rebound, and the All-Star has it shoved back in his face by Longley. Loose ball to Pippen. Jordan. Harper is there for the rebound. And they get a fresh 24. Harper takes it right in.
The energy of Chicago. The match of the intensity and the energy of Los Angeles right now.
And Longley is going to bring Shaq back to the line. Longley's second foul. He's fouled out of 7 games this year, the most in the league. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. A lot of coaches and everybody saying that this game was not a statement game. Nobody trying to send any messages. But I talked to Michael Jordan about that. He said that's absolutely wrong. He said this is a game where everybody knows that the Lakers are the team of the future, but more importantly, the Chicago Bulls are the team of the present. And they want to show them that if they ever hope to win an NBA championship, they're going to have to go through them. Bob?
Shaq shooting better than 60% from the field and under 50% from the line.
Well, let's talk about why Shaq struggles from the free throw line. You know, Shaquille O'Neal, he's 7 foot tall, and when he holds the basketball, it's almost like a volleyball or a grapefruit in his hands. When he looks at the basket and he looks at the rim, the reason why he shoots a line drive, because basically he's eye to eye with the rim. So it's hard for him to get touch on the basketball. They had people to come in here to show him how to shoot, but all those people were 6 feet, 5'7", 5'9". You got to find somebody who's 7 feet tall to teach Shaq how to shoot free throws.
He's 0 for 3 today. Who's the best big man as a free throw shooter you've seen? There have been some 7-footers who are pretty good. Here's Jordan. Pippen and Michael back from it. This one's short, and Shaq has the rebound, averaging better than 12 rebounds a game and over 27 points. As soon as he has enough points or games played to qualify for the league leaders, he'll be second in the league behind Michael Jordan. Right now, Karl Malone ranked second. Joe Klein is in for Longley, who picked up 2 quick fouls. And Klein fouls O'Neal before the shot. Laker ball when we come back. With Ahmad Rashad and Isaiah Thomas, Bob Costas back at the Forum, the Lakers have become the first team since the '83 76ers to place 4 of their players on the All-Star team. One of them, Nick Van Exel, not in action today, sidelined with a hip injury. Had Dennis Rodman not acted up toward the end of the first half of the season, maybe turning some of the Eastern Conference coaches against him, Rodman might have been on the team, and had Pippen not been injured, almost certainly he would have been on the team. So we could have had 7 All-Stars in action today. As it is, Jordan is the only Chicago representative. He led everybody in fan balloting.
But when we talked to Shaq yesterday, he said, yeah, they're blessed to have 4 All-Stars on the team, but it's also a curse also, because now those All-Stars have to live up to it every night, and people are coming in trying to prove to them that they're better than they are.
As we come back after the timeout, here's Rick Fox driving into the lane around Pippen into the right hand off the glass.
That's what LA has to do. They have to get to the basket to exploit Chicago's soft interior defense. Chicago doesn't have a lot of shot blockers in the game now. Joe Klein is in, but they don't have a lot of shot blockers, so they can get inside and exploit their weakened defense.
Fox on Pippen. Michael baseline. Harper left alone. Overshot it. Rebound Blunt. Derek Fisher with an assist-to-turnover ratio of 3-to-1 finds Shaq, who misses, and Rodman is there for the rebound. He's had 20 or more boards in each of the 3 Bulls games on this road trip, and he's got 3 so far today. Throws it away, trying to return it to Joe Klein.
That was a shot that Rodman should have took. He should have came in and laid the basketball up as opposed to trying to dish that off to Joe Klein.
In a 6-game, 9-day West Coast swing that takes them to the All-Star game, the Bulls have won at Vancouver, at Portland, and at Golden State. Shaq, from just inside the line, puts it through.
You know, they should do more of that in terms of bringing Shaq out on the floor and let him using his dribble and his penetration, because he's so quick. He's much bigger and quicker than a lot of these guys that he can go around them. A lot of times they get stagnant and just use him underneath.
Pittman left hands it up and it spins out. Rodman. Fox has Jordan on a switch, spins past him into a crowd. Body contact with Shaq, no call, and Fisher has it. Fisher, a very assured young player.
Well, he has a point guard mentality. He's looking to get everybody in the game. He's not looking for himself, but he's looking to make keys, and he will hit the open shot.
As demonstrated right there off an assist from Shaq, who will pass out of a double team better than most people realize.
Yeah, Shaq is a very good passer. You know, this guy can do it all. You know, he passes, he defends. He's quite an athlete. He's quite a player.
Joe Klein misses. Rodman and Blunt go at it, and Rodman picks up the loose ball foul.
Now, Shaq can go off the dribble. You know, he can take you inside and outside. He can also pass out of the low post. You know, he gets double teamed here. He gives the guy a shooting pass where the guy doesn't have to do anything but catch it, square up, and shoot. That was an excellent pass by Shaq. A lot of times big guys will throw you the ball out of the post, and they'll either throw it too high or throw it too low. But Shaq has the presence of mind to give you the ball right in your shooting rhythm.
Corey Blunt making his first start of the year. Surprising to some people that Eldon Campbell, who played very well while Shaq was hurt, is not starting this game. But Campbell had only 2 points and 1 rebound in 20 minutes Friday night against the Timberwolves. He and Rick Fox and Robert Horry came in for a bit of a tongue lashing from Shaquille O'Neal, who criticized their lack of consistency and what Shaq viewed as their occasional lack of intensity. That was this week after a loss to New Jersey.
Well, Eldon Campbell has had those problems ever since he got here. I remember Magic Johnson, when Eldon Campbell was a rookie, he took Eldon in and gave him a tongue lashing and was really trying to light some fire under him.
And now here comes Kobe. He doesn't start for his own team, but the fans said he should start in the All-Star game, so he will. A week from tonight at Madison Square Garden. He leads everyone in the NBA in terms of points off the bench, averaging 17.5 points a game as a reserve.
But this will be a good matchup right now because he's matched up with Tony Kukoc, and neither one of them are great defenders, but they're great offensive players. They're very superb in what they do offensively. It'll be interesting to see which one of them gets off first.
Blunt with the interception. Bryant to Jones. Now he has it back. Kobe right up with it. Way off the mark. O'Neal has it. Coach on Fox, who drives baseline and then gets rid of it to Shaq. Over Klein. Rodman for another rebound. Averaging 15.5 boards a game to easily lead the league. He's got 5 in this first quarter. Bryant has Kukoc around the Klein screen. Now Michael.
Michael's got a good shooting rhythm going. He's shooting the ball extremely well, and he's matched up against Kobe now. He wants the challenge of guarding Kobe.
Jones misses the 3. Rodman clears it again. Pippen can't control it. And on the Bulls turnover, the Lakers have it back. Tied at 16 with just over 3 minutes to play in the first.
See, they'll take turns. You know, Pippen to guard him a little bit, Jordan to guard him a little bit, and those are the 2 best defenders in the NBA right now, and Kobe's going to have his work cut out to score against either one of those guys.
22nd timeout taken by the Lakers. He spoke of Michael Jordan's shooting rhythm. He hit 2 of his first 3. He's 4 of 8 so far in this game. He managed to score 14 points at Golden State on Friday night, giving him 803 consecutive games in double figures, extending his own NBA record. But he needed to hit 10 of 11 from the free throw line to get into double figures after making just 2 of 17 from the floor. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Bob, you know, I was talking to Michael about his showdown here with Kobe, and one of the things he said is that everybody's looking for the heir apparent. He said, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here. He said that playing against a guy like Kobe really fires him up, but he's not conceding anything, so it should be exciting, Bob.
Well, when faced with whomever has been dubbed this year or this week's heir apparent in the past, Jordan has often pressed the accelerator just to send a message of his own.
But when you're Chicago, you look for things to artificially motivate you now because you've been doing it for so long and there are no more challenges. So anytime that you can get something to artificially motivate you, you accept that to fire you up and fuel you.
Pippen bumped Bryant. Scotty doesn't think so, but the foul is on him. And quickly a timeout. We'll be right back.
Well, Dennis Rodman, the rebounding machine. He already has 6 rebounds today. Let's take a look at Dennis. Everything he does is with 2 hands. He gets it, 1 hand, 2 hands. That's what all young kids should watch. Watch how he positions himself, tips it, grabs it with 2 hands. Every time you see him rebound, it's with 2 hands, turns, outlets. Fundamentally sound into the game. 36 years old, leading the league in rebounding. The only 2 people to ever do that is Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, the big man.
And as if this game needed any additional spice, Rodman provided it with yet another critique of Shaquille O'Neal. He said he's a 2-dimensional player. All he can do is dunk and dunk.
And I would say there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, Rodman's also wrong if he's serious because Shaq is a terrific rebounder. He passes well out of the double. He does tend to get in foul trouble, and of course his great weakness is that he can't hit free throws.
Well, let's take a look at Shaq. You know, he's 25 years old. He's coming to the league at a very early age, and it takes a long time to win a championship. His discipline, his focus, his concentration is on winning a championship. He's improved himself, and he's going to win a championship in one of these years.
Judd Bushler just in, misses long. Kukoc has the rebound. It's wrested away from him, though, by Mario Bennett. Bennett to Bryant, into a crowd and off the glass.
Now, Mario Bennett is a speed player. He's one of them guys who can get up and down the court. You know, he's very versatile. He can guard you on the court, outside the court. He can do anything out on the court from a versatility standpoint.
Jordan, Pippen, Buechler, Kukoc, and Klein. And Michael misses long. Line drive rebound to Kobe. Out of the backcourt with Jones on his right. Jordan had him defensively. Jones from the side. It's good for three. And the quiet all-star gives the Lakers a 6-point lead. It's the game's biggest. Chicago asked for a 20 here. And in that stretch, at least briefly, Kobe and Michael were head-to-head, guarding each other for the last couple of minutes. Phil Jackson made a move before the game. You see Joe Klein, who had been on the injured list. They put Rusty LaRue on the injured list, the rookie guard out of Wake Forest, and activated Klein, who has come off the bench early with Luke Longley picking up 2 quick fouls. This gives them 6 more fouls, at least in theory, to use against Shaq. We haven't seen Bill Wennington yet, but they have 3 centers in Longley, Klein, and Wennington.
Well, in bringing in Klein and having those 6 fouls, it's a plus, but it's also a negative too, because sometimes you get in a habit of just fouling people, and you can see that Chicago's already over the, or LA hasn't gotten to the penalty yet because they haven't used it. But if you start fouling people and you keep fouling them, then you're going to keep sending them to the line, and at the end of the game, that can come back and bite you.
LA on a 13-2 run. Michael from 20, fouled as he let it go. Eddie Jones picks up his first, and you can go online to msnbcsports.com and cast your ballots for the NBA midseason survey. Voting for MVP, Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, and all the rest. Later today, go online for post-game commentary and reactions from the locker rooms of the Bulls and the Lakers. msnbcsports.com.
Now, Ahmad and I were talking to Jordan back in the locker room, and he made the comment to Ahmad and I that, it's interesting that, whenever there's a one-on-one matchup, he always guards his guy, but the guy doesn't never guard him. They always put somebody else on him.
Well, in this case, though, Bryant and Jordan were guarding each other, at least for a few sequences. Here's Fox to Jones, and Jones with the up and under. Lakers by 6 again. Kukoc from Klein to cut it to 4. That's Tony's first basket. Last minute of the first quarter. Buechler on Jones, who drives on it. And from the baseline, it's no good. Chasing it to the side. Art Bennett and Jordan, and Michael comes away with it. Klein is fouled by Fox, coming over to help Bennett with the defense.
Now, what makes this fast break happen is that he runs his lanes wide, and he's able to elevate and go up under Joe Klein. That's what made that play happen. Eddie Jones is a great leaper, but he's also a great finesse player around the basket.
Joe Klein, the veteran, signed as a free agent just before this year. Can't hit the free throw. Luke Longley had to take a seat early, picking up 2 quick fouls. And Klein makes 1 of 2. Bulls back to within 3. Eddie Jones blows past him and bounces it into Fox for the reverse. Getting back ahead of the field is Kukoc, but Bennett catches up. Michael against Kobe. To Kukoc in the lane, slapped away, and Michael recovers. Last 10 seconds of the quarter. Kobe on Michael. To the foul line, the jumper over him, and that's the way the first quarter will conclude.
That's the end of the first period.
Michael with more than half of Chicago's total. The Lakers by 3 after 1. It promised to be a good one. So far it has been. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Even when tickets are tough, Magic Johnson can always find a spot at the Forum. Oscar De La Hoya. Mike Piazza of the Dodgers is here. Jerry Seinfeld, soon to have much time on his hand, checking out recreational opportunities. Michael Richards. And one of the great actors, James Spader, on hand with his young son, who, despite living in Los Angeles, professes to be a Bulls fan.
Every time I see Magic Johnson, you know, that was my mentor when I came into the league. He showed me the ropes. He showed me the ups and downs of this league. And when I used to come in and watch the Lakers compete against the Celtics, everything that I learned about winning in the NBA, I learned from Magic Johnson and this Lakers organization and the Boston Celtics and Larry Bird.
As the second quarter begins, Shaq is back. Jordan sits. Randy Brown off the bench, and he's guarding Kobe Bryant. Longley back in. Bryant for 3. It's flat, and the rebound to Pippen. The question coming off the first quarter, Zeke, can the Bulls win at the Laker pace? It was an LA pace in the first quarter.
Well, the Bulls definitely can win at this pace. You know, this is definitely, I think this is more the Bulls' place than the Lakers' place. They're establishing themselves inside and outside. LA has yet to establish Shaquille in the low block. He's done some things from the perimeter. But they need to get him on the low blocks and get him inside where he can use his power game.
Fox answering the Longley basket, and Fox, who had 30 against Minnesota on Friday, already has a dozen today. Shaq has it, but on the end line as he gathers it in.
So you see the Lakers are playing with great intensity defensively. They've got their hands active. They're tapping balls. You know, his hands are very active. They're got great intensity, but you see he steps right on the line and then he steps right back in. But they're very active today, and that's when you know as a coach and as players if your team is into it, if they're giving you the type of energy out on the court that needs to be had. You know, Dale Harris is pretty happy right now with the energy that his team is displaying.
His team has 4 All-Stars, and he would have been the All-Star coach had they been able to beat Seattle at Seattle 8 days ago. But the Sonics won that game, and George Karl will coach the West next week at Madison Square Garden. Larry Bird, the Eastern Conference star. The discussion is about the shot clock and whether or not it should have been reset. But the Bulls are only going to have 5 seconds. They'll say that possession never truly changed, that before Shaq had it, he was out of bounds. Here's Kukoc. His shot is short, and Bryant has it. Bryant into the lane. Shaq to follow with some emphasis.
That's where he has to be. See, that's Shaq's gangster game. That's when he just takes a basket. You know, Kobe came in and Shaq was able to use his strength, use his muscle. When Robin says all he does is dunk, 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 you know, that's all he has to do because those are very high percentage shots for him.
I would say so. Lakers by 6. Rodman from Kukoc, way off. Bryant coming across, looking for Bennett. Now Fox fills the lane. Bennett was open initially, but Fox, trailing the play, gets the hoop, and he has 14.
Well, Kobe wanted to throw the lob to Bennett, and he jumped in the passing lane, so he faked him, and he had to juke him and go around him so he can get it to him later.
LA by 8. Randy Brown scoots to the baseline. Shaq knocks it away. Brown saves it in, and Kukoc has it. Brown brings them to within 6. Lakers trying to get back quickly, but the Bulls regroup. Gotti on Kobe. Giving him a variety of moves, then shooting it in his face, and Pippen fouls it. Let's go back and take a look at the Kobe drive and the Shaq follow.
But you got Kobe coming down the lane, but what makes it is Shaq positions himself and he goes over Longley. Now watch Shaq as he positions himself, times it as it comes out, and goes over Longley.
A moment ago, Pippen picked up his second foul. Bryant at the line when we come back.
Ahmad Rashad back here in Los Angeles. Now, if you ever thought that Michael Jordan could ever be embarrassed, he was embarrassed on Friday night. Said it was his worst shooting night of his career. He's shooting a lot better tonight, but now sometimes in L.A. the crowd arrives late and doesn't get a chance to see how he shoots in the first quarter. And if you would have got here on time when the game started, you would have seen Michael has been burning it up.
Now, you're a football player, yet you do basketball. I mean,
I'm asking the question.
You never see like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar doing a boxing match. How did you get to do that? How did you get this job?
Because I'm like that.
Okay.
You know, Ahmad, someone should point out to Chris Rock that football experience is virtually useless at NBC these days. You must diversify. Here's Kobe at the line after being fouled by Pippen and rattling it home.
But you see Kobe here, he's going to be the youngest player to ever start in the All-Star game. I remember my first All-Star game was in New Jersey, and I walked out on the court and I seen Kareem, I seen Bird, I seen McHale, and the first time I went to the free throw line, I shot an air ball because I was so nervous and I was so scared.
You were only 20. Magic was only 20 when he made his first appearance, but Bryant trumps you all at 19. Here is Jordan passing through a crowd to Brown, and now Scott Burrell making his first appearance. And Bryant pushes Rodman as Dennis had rebound position on him.
Well, what Kobe had over Magic and I is that his dad was a better basketball player than my dad and Magic's dad. His dad is Joe Bryant, used to play with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Jelly bean.
Schooled young Kobe well.
In and out from Michael after Bryant's first foul. Gave the Bulls the ball on the side. Bryant for three. Kobe's just 1 of 5 from the floor thus far. Brown double team, finds Longley. Luke Long, air ball, grabbed by Burrell, who sticks it in. The Lakers by 5. Shaq. Burrell comes over on the double team. Now Fox. Knocked away, and it will belong to Chicago.
See, one of the problems with a young team, you said a young team versus an experienced team. Young team came out early in the first quarter with a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. Can they continue to duplicate that? And what Dale Harris's dilemma has been all season long is they go up and down. They have good quarters and bad quarters.
Jordan from Brown. And they take it right back. And a Laker foul.
And Chicago, being a veteran team, senses that the lack of energy, and they put the flurry on. Now, what set that play up was the up fake that Michael gave. He gave Kobe the up fake, set him up. Then he was able to get to alley-oop. A lot of guys, you see, they just run off and take off blindly for the alley-oop. But Michael Jordan continues to amaze me with his fundamentals, the way he sets people up.
The foul is on Bennett, and Michael misses the first of 2.
So you'll see Michael come through the lane. Now watch him fake Kobe. See, he fakes him up, and then he makes the back cut. Had he not made the fake, the play wouldn't have happened. His fundamentals are amazing.
Michael has 14. And it stays there as he misses them both.
Now see, now what Kobe has to do, he has to remember everything that Michael does to him. He has to put it in his book and come back the next time that he plays against him and bring it out. But he has to remember because he's going to school now.
Shaq missing the hook, but Longley quickly is in foul trouble. That's his third. As we've been telling you, next Sunday, the All-Star Game from New York, 6 Eastern Time. The best in the world, and you'll see it on NBC next Sunday. Shaq is 0 for 3 at the line. Now, earlier you were talking about 7-footers and their angle to the basket on a free throw. On the other hand, Kareem was a good free throw shooter. Your old teammate Bill Laimbeer was a good one. There have been others.
Yeah, but those guys were finesse players, you know, like Chamberlain and O'Neal. Those have really been like the two power centers that I can remember in the league. And if you remember Chamberlain, he would move all around the free throw line trying to get the correct angle. You know, Shaq's game is a power game. It's one of dominance. It's not one of finesse. So therefore, he has a difficult time coming down to the finesse game.
Well, he hit them both that time. Remember, at the end of his career, Chamberlain actually was shooting them from 18 feet. Michael into the lane and hammered. And Shaq picks up his first. Right at the end of his career, Wilt was almost back at the top of the key, trying almost anything. So much for history. To the present day, Kobe Bryant, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, and Shaq, Laker members of the All-Star team. This is Magic Johnson's first All-Star appearance in 1980 in Landover on the Bullets home floor, as they were then known, now the Wizards. And he was but 20. Now Kobe Bryant, the youngest ever elected to an All-Star team. Michael hit them both after the Shaq foul. Lakers by 3. Bryant over Michael. Shaq to follow.
That's Shaq Daddy. You know, he underneath following, he can use his strength against Bill Wennington. Wennington is not as physical as Joe Klein, not as physical as Luke Longley. So Shaq should have his way with him underneath the basket.
Shaq has 10. Here's Wennington in the game for the first time, the third center used in this first half by Phil Jackson. Brown over Fisher and drilling it home. And this is lost. Here comes Eddie Jones right into our lap. Cameraman goes sprawling. Eddie Okuno, our cameraman. You okay, Eddie? Shaken up a little, but stays in the game.
Well, you know, it's a big game. You know, look at the hustle of Eddie Jones. You know, and this, you know, here comes the cameraman. Look. Oh!
Man, it looks like earthquake footage. Eddie got just about all of it. The monitor, meaning Eddie Jones. He got Eddie Okuno. He got the monitor. He knocked our notes all over the place.
Yeah, but that's the good stuff. You know, that's what you like about basketball. You know, you like the heart, you like the desire. You know, they give it all and they put it out on the floor.
Eddie Jones actually cut his knee. He goes out. Eddie Okuno continues on camera, however. Wennington misses from the baseline, but scrambles back for the loose ball. The Bulls down by 3. Michael with Kobe up on him. The whole bag of tricks, but the shot doesn't fall.
Nice tip by Rodman.
Burrell to the floor, surrounded by a group of Lakers, and a jump ball.
See, that's basketball, you know, diving on the floor, loose balls, everybody scrambling. That's what the fans appreciate.
Can you feel it here?
Yeah, they all into it. You know, they're diving all over the floor. Rodman's got his hair going. Everybody's ready.
Buick Invitational, by the way, held at Torrey Pines in San Diego. Back in '91, Tiger Woods won the Junior World Championship, and just this past week he decided he would play in the Buick Invitational. You'll see it next weekend on NBC. (38-35), the Lakers by 3. A jump ball at the foul line in front of the Bulls basket, with Wennington going against Derek Fisher, a mismatch, and the Bulls have it. Michael to the foul line. Wennington gives it up to Brown. 8 on the 24 as Michael has it again. Over Bryant. Long. Burrell with the rebound. Wennington left alone.
See, rebounding is contagious. Rodman has 9 rebounds already, and what that does is it makes everybody wants to go up in offensive rebound. He gets it going, then Burrell gets it going, and they get a lot of second chance shots, and that's what LA has to cut down on now.
Shaq has it spin out for him, and back come the Bulls, trailing by 1. Wennington again. Shaq with the flat-footed rebound. Fox from Fisher. Fox averaging just over 11 a game, has 14 already in this half after a 30-point performance on Friday. O'Neal and Wennington collide, and Wennington can't believe that the foul is on him as Shaq delivered an elbow, it looked like.
Well, Shaq would try to use his strength, you know. He's saying that Wennington is flopping, you know, because Shaq is so much stronger than him. This one, Shaq would bring out his gangster game where he just tries to take a basket. There's no finesse now, you know. He'll try to just gangster basket every time he sees Wennington underneath.
Neither team over the limit, non-shooting foul. Eddie Jones got his knee bandaged and he's back in. Rodman this time on Shaq. Fisher, short. Chases his own rebound to the corner. Look at this, a bid to make the highlight film and another try. More conventional, and there's the 2. So Fisher getting a chance to play and making the most of it as Burrell slams one at the other end. Fisher. Fox for 3. Short with it. Fisher slams to the floor. Great no-look pass to Blunt.
Nice.
Michael back. And he's fouled. Are you sure this is a Chicago pace?
Well, when you look at Fisher, you know, he's a do-it-all kind of guy. You know, he's a point guard. He comes in here and he tries to create, but he'll stick with it. You know, he knows that was a bad shot, so he tries to get it. So now he'll get on the floor here. He dives out on the floor, and he knows that there's 2 people behind him, so he gives the no-look and the finish by Corey Blunt.
The last foul was on Fox, his second. Michael now with 17. He isn't buying what Del Harris has been saying all week, that you send messages in the playoffs, this isn't a statement game.
No, not at all. You know, anytime when you're the king of the hill and somebody's challenging you and they're coming up the hill, you want to knock them down.
Fisher again. This one doesn't fall. Then he fights forward and saves it in. Fisher's all over the floor. Here's Blunt.
The LA has to keep playing with this type of intensity and this type of energy. Every time they have a loss, Chicago will come back and attack. If they can sustain this type of energy and sustain this type of intensity, then they'll be all right. But the young team that they are, they go up and down.
Burrell loses as it cuts through the lane. Fox back. Jones off the Fox alley-oop.
That's what all the kids in the park and the playground will go out after the game and try to practice that move.
Timeout, Chicago. A pumped-up Derek Fisher thrusts a fist in the air. You know, I asked Kobe Bryant about the origin of his name. Some fans know this. His mom and dad were ordering some Japanese steak, and there's a sort of steak that is popular in Japan, Kobe steak, Kobe beef. And eventually, after they took the name from that, K-O-B-E, people started pronouncing it Kobe, and that's what stuck. Either way, it's just a good thing they weren't ordering rump roast. Here's Pippen. His pass deflected, picked up by Brown, and now Scotty. He has only 4 points in this first half.
See, LA has to keep their energy up now. They have to finish the half strong.
Here's Derek Fisher back the other way. And he draws a foul, driving off the left side. Now let's take a look back at the Eddie Jones play moments ago.
But you see Rick Fox comes in, he makes the alley-oop, and you see him flying. That's what we all want to do. Fly to the hole like Eddie Jones and Duncan. I know all the little kids going to go out and try that move, but remember, you got to practice the fundamentals also.
After the Chicago foul, with Bryant back in, Jones unleashes a three. It rims out. O'Neal is coming to the foul line again. He, by far, speaking of O'Neal, leads the league in free throws per game. And, of course, it's a problem for Del Harris when your top scorer, the second leading scorer in the league, actually, as soon as he has enough games played to qualify, sometimes has to sit down in the late stages of a game because you fear they'll foul him intentionally.
Well, if I was coaching Shaq, I would never really worry about his free throw shooting in the late stages of the game. I would still want to go to him. I would still want to give him the basketball simply because he's 25 years old. To win a championship in this league, it's a long chase. It's a long haul. So you have to learn how to play under those pressure conditions at the end of the game. You have to learn how to make free throws at the end of the game. So the more experience that he can get right now shooting free throws at the end of the game, the better it will be.
Jones knocks it out of bounds. Still Chicago ball. 1 of 2 that last time for Shaq. 3 for 7 on the afternoon at the line.
You know, this is a tough league. You just don't walk into this league and start winning championships. You know, it takes time.
Jordan from 20. And Michael has 20 in the first half. Eddie Jones back. Can't control the dribble. Burrell has it. Burrell pulls up, confronted by Shaq. Brown around Fisher, and now Pippen with the left hand.
Now see, this is where experience comes in. This is where the vets come out. You know, at the end of the half, now they'll make a push. They've withstood the challenge from L.A., and now they'll try to make their push here to go in at the half up 5 or 6.
Tied at 47. At one point, the Lakers led by 8. Rodman trying to muscle with Shaq. He thought O'Neal may have traveled, but instead the foul is called.
See, that's the mindset of the veterans. You know, you got Shaq coming into the low post. He positions himself. He gets deep into the post. Once he's that deep, he's hard to stop, so you got to foul him. You're better off fouling him than letting him get that deep into the post.
It was Brown coming over on the double team who was hit with the personal. As soon as Shaquille O'Neal has played 400 career games, and that will come sometime early next season, he'll qualify for the all-time leaders. And he would automatically become the 4th leading scorer if he maintains his present pace, the 4th leading scorer of all time, after Michael, Wilt, and just behind Elgin Baylor and just ahead of Jerry West.
Yeah, that's impressive. You know, this guy, he brings the bacon every night. Every night he steps on the floor, he's giving you big-time numbers.
Randy Brown is open. It comes up short, and here's Derek Fisher, who's everywhere. The pass out of bounds. And we're still waiting for the officials to rule. Fisher has 5 rebounds, 6 points, 4 assists, no turnovers, getting a chance to play with Nick Van Exel benched the last couple of games by an injury. And in fact, that was his first turnover on that pass that went out of bounds and will belong to Chicago. Kukoc to Burrell, and Fisher picks up a foul, although Burrell, now a technical is going to be called. Fisher went reeling backwards as if he caught an elbow up in the eye. Burrell going over to let him know it wasn't intentional.
But what happens here is Derek Fisher and Burrell's fighting for the post. Now Burrell goes up, and as he's going up, he reaches back, uses his momentum, and he hits Fisher in the eye. And I think as Fisher got hit in the eye, he probably said something, or either Burrell said something after he hit Fisher to the referee, Lou Gorilla.
So the technical is on Burrell.
I don't know if the technical was because of the elbow or if it was something that Burrell said.
Bryant converts it. giving the Lakers a 3-point lead at 50-47 with 1:38 to play in the half. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, Bob, it was a strange call because the only thing that Burrell said to Derek Fisher was that he was sorry. Ask him, was he all right? And then a technical was called. So maybe he didn't say it nice enough. Bob?
Lou Grillo, the official, apparently critiquing etiquette at this point.
Lou will tee you up. You know, when Lou had a couple of my games when I was playing, he was quick with the tee.
One more coming for Burrell. Looks like they're going to take Fisher into the locker room with only a minute and a half or so to play in the half. The Lakers by a bucket. Bryant with Burrell on him. Jordan guarding Shaq. Burrell coming over on the double team. Shaq over Rodman.
But see, that's what Shaq is trying to develop his finesse game. He hasn't got his finesse game down yet. He came into the league strictly as a power player, but now you see him trying to develop little hook shots, little turnaround jump shots, trying to develop his finesse game. So when he's 29 years old, he'll have the total package.
Jordan is short with it. Rodman chases it to the side for another rebound. Shaq has 15 after that last basket, averaging 27 for the season, which is just about his career average, too. Pippen for 3. The Laker lead trimmed to 1. Kobe, and he answers with a 3. He's not had a terrific 8 points for him. Jordan fades and fires over Shaq.
Oh, that was nice. It was nice because he took the bump from Shaq and he was strong enough to follow through with it on the fade.
Eddie Jones quickly back. That's a big part of his game in transition that way. Lakers 57, Bulls 53. Last possession of the half, perhaps. Burrell from Rodman. Misses it. Bryant has it. 6 seconds to push it up the floor. Eddie Jones, an open 3. Not there. And that'll do it. Coming up next, the Prudential Halftime Report. That's after these messages. With the Lakers in front by 4, halftime at the Great Western Forum. Maybe Michael Jordan's last NBA game in Los Angeles. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
It's halftime at the Forum with the Lakers leading the Bulls 57-53. Michael Jordan leads all scorers with 22. Shaquille O'Neal has 15 for the Lakers. Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm along with John Spider Sally and Peter Vesey, and we'll hear from them shortly. First, Lakers phenom Kobe Bryant. Just 19 years old, he's been voted by the fans to start in next Sunday's All-Star game, making him the youngest player in NBA All-Star history. Bob Costas spoke with the Lakers' second-year sensation.
A week from now, you'll be introduced not just as an All-Star, but at age 19, the youngest starting All-Star ever. This is a big national coming out party for Kobe Bryant.
The stage is set, Madison Square Garden. Now, I've never fully played the game there ever before. I just heard stories about it, and I can't wait to get out there, hear the introductions, run out there on the court. And New York City is going to be bananas, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
You see similarities in his game as well as my game, and I think if he maintains a certain mental approach, he can become a great professional basketball player.
All these Michael Jordan comparisons, very flattering, obviously. Would you agree with this, though, that even if it's possible to imagine a player somehow as good as Michael Jordan, the circumstances will never be the same. So there'll be a first Kobe Bryant, a first Grant Hill, but there will not be another Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at, what I want people to understand. You know, when Dr. J was retiring, you know, Michael came into the league, and people were comparing Mike with Dr. J. People always make comparisons, but it's up to the own individual throughout the years who's going to create his own identity.
We've got a little show going on here between number 23 and number 8.
When you played against Jordan in December in Chicago, great game. You had 33, he had 36, and there was conversation going on. What was that conversation like?
You know, we were just talking about a couple moves. You get a chance to go up against one of the best basketball players that ever played this game. You know, learn, and most importantly, compete.
Was he helpful?
Yeah, he was very helpful. He was very helpful. I remember he gave me a couple bits of advice here and there.
Anything you want to divulge?
No, I can't give you all that kind of information. If I tell you, I have to eliminate you.
Well, in that case, withhold it. Kobe, how old were you when you were first able to beat your dad one-on-one?
14.
14?
14, that was the first time I ever beat him.
Was that a big moment?
It was a big moment for me. My father used to beat up on me a lot. And then my mother would come outside and watch the games, and he would stop throwing elbows all of a sudden, stop cheating on the score, and I got him. That's the last time I played him.
Your parents moved in with you in Pacific Palisades. How's that working out?
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful. I have my parents there with me. They're my backbone. And it's been like this for 19 years. So I didn't see any reason to change it simply because I made the jump to go to the NBA.
I don't mean to oversimplify things, but it seems like you're able to walk the line between what remains of your youth and still enjoying it and viewing yourself as a kid to the extent that that's appropriate, but also step up into the NBA and take care of yourself. You're comfortable with 1 foot in the water and 1 foot out, huh?
I mean, I am 19. I'm very, very young. But at the same time, basketball has no age. Jump shot has no age. Crossover has no age. So when I'm out there playing, I'm playing hard. I'm fitting in just with the rest of the guys. But off the court, I'm 19 years old. So I'm just going to have fun like a 19-year-old would.
There's certainly been other notable NBA players to skip college, go to the NBA straight out of high school, like Moses Malone and Kevin Garnett. But unlike those players, Kobe Bryant has a dad who played in the league. How much of a head start has that given him, John?
That's a huge head start. I mean, his father was a pro. His son becomes a pro. You're happy, you know, any kind of job. He was born into the NBA, and he was over in Europe with his father, so he got to see things, a different perspective on life. So he came here as a 19-year-old kid, but with a life of a 30-year-old, so he's well advanced.
I thought it was from hanging around Julius down in Philadelphia, actually. Yeah. Julius Erving, you remember him? Yeah. My ex-partner? Julius.
Although that's also a very fine influence, and for a 19-year-old, he really has grown up, but he still has room to grow.
He does, Hannah. Right now, he's predominantly relying on the spectacular, and I think what Kobe has to learn is that you don't always have to do one-on-one. You don't always have to make spectacular shots, passes. Rely more on fundamentals, the way Michael Jordan learned later on in his career. But this kid is young, he's got time on his hands, and he's eminently coachable. But right now, I think he's got to get his teammates more involved, help them out, make them better, as opposed to making his posters better.
His numbers thus far in the first half, he has 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting from the field, 4 rebounds, and a pair of assists. When we return, highlights from the Knicks and the Heat, who played earlier today at Madison Square Garden. But first, a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Back at the Great Western Forum, Michael Jordan, who in one of the worst performances of his career was just 2 of 17 on Friday against the Warriors, is 8 of 17 in this first half, the game's high man with 22 points. Bob Costas back along with Isaiah Thomas. You know, it's often said that a regular season game is being played with playoff intensity, and maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but in this case, it's true.
Well, anytime you come out to L.A., you want to perform, and Jordan is putting on a performance here today. You know, he's schooling Kobe Bryant, but Kobe's accepting the education. That's what it's all about in this league. It's about passing on the torch, and Jordan is passing it on today in the right kind of way, though.
Kobe with 8 points on 2 of 7 in the first half as we look at the Miller Lite halftime stats.
Well, you see, What we're going to see coming up here on one of these graphs is you're going to see the inside scoring of Michael Jordan, how he's able to score inside the paint, but he's also able to score from outside. You know, Michael Jordan gets his shots from everywhere out on the court, and that's one of the good things about the triangle offense because it moves him around the court.
The Lakers have shot 52% against the excellent Chicago defense in this first half. And a look at Shaq's shot chart.
Now, when you look at Shaquille's shot chart, what jumps out right away at you is where he's shooting his shots from right underneath. You know, when you look at Jordan's shot charts, they're all over the board. You know, L.A. runs a different kind of offense than Chicago does. Chicago runs a triangle offense, and L.A. is more stationary.
Ahmad Rashad back at the Forum. Now, this is a time when normally we talk about what teams need to do in the second half, but rather than me tell you, I thought I'd get it from an expert. I'm joined by Irvin Magic Johnson, who is an expert. First of all, let's talk about the Lakers. What they need to do in the second half.
Well, I think they need to get out and fast break a little bit more. It's going to be tough to beat the Bulls in a half-court game, so we got to get early transition offense.
What about the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I think they have to continue to execute. You know, the Bulls are where they want to be, believe me. They want to come down, and they know if they take it into the fourth quarter in a close game, MJ already got, over 20, and he'll take over and win the game.
But even in a fast court game, it seems to me that the Bulls are kind of comfortable with that pace.
Yeah, but, you know, we're better at it than them. You know, now the Bulls want to run, no question about it. They have better people in transition maybe than we do, but that's our game. You know, in a half-court game where we're going. You got more options in a half-court game than we do in terms of the Lakers. You know we're going to Shaq. You don't know what they're going to do. Michael, Scotty, Luke Longley is playing well, so they got a little bit more options than we have.
You know, we could probably do the second half and let Bob and Isaiah go get a hot dog.
You and Bob take the second half off.
I got you.
Bob.
Has Magic sent it back to us? We've gotten it back from Magic, have we? Okay. Eddie Jones and Shaq have baskets as we start the second half. Pippen into the lane, flips one up, no good. And the rebound to Corey Blunt.
Now the energy has to continue for Los Angeles. Keep pushing it, keep dragging it to the basket.
Derek Fisher does just that. This is the game's biggest lead. It was a 4-point differential at halftime. The Lakers come out and immediately put 3 quick baskets on the board to up it to 10 at 63-53.
Well, that's the youth. That's the energy. You know, Lakers have to continue to push the ball. You know, Chicago has tired legs. They played last night. They're a lot older than the Los Angeles Lakers. You're in the dog days of February right now, or January. These are the dog days, January, February of the NBA. This is where your mind starts to wander. So by LA being a younger team, they should continue to push and make Chicago use their energy. Chicago's on a long road trip. LA right now, this is a kill point in the game. This is where you're up 10 right now. You come out of a 20-second timeout. You say, okay, now we want to go further. We want to push this lead further. We want to take it to 15. Chicago, on the other hand, is thinking we want to take it down to 5.
After the 22nd timeout, Jordan with it for Chicago and over the head of Longley, and the Bulls immediately turn it over.
You see LA right now, you know, Derek Fisher ran over there to try to hurry up to get him to inbound the ball. You know, they want to keep the pressure on. They want to keep pushing, keep making Chicago have to use their legs and work.
Rick Fox. I don't know if he'll match fellow Tar Heel Michael Jordan, but he's got 17, matching the number on his back, and the Lakers are up by 13. And now they lose it again. Here comes Fisher, ahead to Fox, on the run. The basket and one.
That's exactly what Los Angeles wants to do. See the three-point shot, anytime you see a three-point shot with an 8 to 10-point lead, that's a kill shot. That's a momentum shot. You know, and now you come back down on the fast break and you got another chance to make a three-point play. See, the defense intensity hasn't picked up. They come out, they're pushing the ball. They want Chicago to use energy. Harper can't get there to take the offensive foul. Fox goes around him and has a chance for a three-point play.
That gives him 20 for the game. And suddenly a 16-point lead. A dozen unanswered points at the outset of the second half for the Lakers.
Now watch for the back pick here, Longley coming off of Jordan's screen.
Jordan lets it go and can't end the Chicago drought. Shaq has it. Here comes Fisher. Out of the corner, Jones for three.
Those are the killer blows. That's when you want to knock them out. You know, that was the knockout punch there.
A 19-point lead. And Pippen can't cut into it. Rodman has it knocked away, and there's a Los Angeles foul. Back to Ahmad.
Derek Fisher, during halftime, took 3 stitches in the eye, and I found out about the technical that was called is that the referee thought that it was intentional that he got hit in the eye, and that's why he called the technical. Bob?
All right, Ahmad after the foul, Chicago ball on the side. Longley, a 16-footer. And finally, Chicago is on the board in the second half.
Now, what Chicago has to do right now, they have to slow the momentum, slow the pace, walk back into the game, get to the foul line, try to manufacture some points from the foul line. L.A. has to keep the energy and keep pounding.
Shaq. The Lakers are 7 for 7 from the floor in the third quarter. Jordan from Longley. Spins out. Shaq has it. Pegging it ahead. Jordan back with Jones, and Michael comes up with the steal. Pippen's three isn't there. And a whistle off the rebound battle. And they'll stay at this end of the floor. A Los Angeles foul on Rick Fox.
You know, when I was in Detroit and we was trying to overcome the Boston Celtics, an aging Boston Celtic team, whenever we played them at home, we always wanted the up-the-tempo, to run, to get them moving. If you can get the old guys moving around and you can use your young energy, you have a better chance of beating them.
3 fouls on Fox. Longley down the lane with the left-hand slam.
See, Chicago wants to slow the game down now. That's what Boston used to try to do to us. You know, McHale, Bird, you know, as them guys got a little older and the injuries started to catch up to them, they didn't want to run up and down the court.
Longley with both Chicago baskets in the quarter. Here's Eddie Jones to the reverse.
Nice. Nice back cut on the setup. Jordan overplayed, he back cut, reverse spin back cut.
Pippen trying to work on Fox, and Fox picks up his 4th foul.
That's the little simple things. At Temple, I'm sure John Chaney taught that the back cut. He didn't teach him that, though. The up, the under, the reverse, the left hand. Learn how to use your right hand in your left hand. If he would have tried to shoot that shot right-handed, he couldn't have made it. So he had to switch it over to his left to use the backspin English off the glass.
Fox goes out. Kobe Bryant comes in. Harper with the jumper that is no good. Rodman battling for it, but one comes away with it. Bryant playing small forward in this setup with Fisher and Jones both on the floor. It's Pippen who takes Jones defensively. Shaq with the fadeaway. That's the first miss of the half for the Lakers. They're 8 for 9. LA by 19. Jordan guarded by Bryant. Takes him inside and banks it home.
You see, Chicago's not taking any chances right now. You know, you see Ron Harper pass up a shot to try to get closer. You see Jordan go in to get closer. They want to take safe shots right now.
That was Jordan's first basket of the second half. He has 24 for the game. The Lakers sprinting out to a 17-point lead.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Let's look at the student and the teacher. They got Kobe driving, but he'll try to use the teacher's move on him. Jordan shuts him down. Then Jordan comes down and says, let me show you this one. Bam. Okay, now let me see if you can get this. Okay, the back cut. Did you catch that one, young fella?
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Beer will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
The education of the NBA, learning how to win in this league is very difficult. You have your good nights and your bad nights, but mentally you got to be able to stay in it and you got to be able to learn.
Here is Kobe to the baseline for the slam. He's got 10. And they match the game's biggest lead at 19. Whistle as there's a jam up in the lane, and the foul is on Chicago.
You see Kobe going baseline, and he elevates with two hands, and he jumps off the wrong foot, which throws Luke Longley off balance, and he's able to elevate over top of him, just like we want to do, Bob.
Meanwhile, Rodman was caught doing something illegal in the lane, picks up his second foul, and Derek Fisher, with a rare turnover for him, loses it on the dribble. The Bulls trail by 19 as we move inside 6 minutes to play in the third. It was a 4-point game at halftime. Longley, his pass intercepted by Fisher. Pushing it back the other way. Bryant cross court to Jones. Eddie Jones misses the three.
See, this is when you got to knock the champion out. You can't give him any life here.
Jordan spins at the foul line and hits. 26 for Michael.
See, Jordan knows how to stay in the game. He knows when the kill points are. You know, LA went on a run. Now they've settled down. They've lost their energy to go up and down. Now Chicago is going to start.
Well, that should energize things just a bit.
Shaq could have stopped all that.
21 for him.
But this is how the veterans try to hang around the game. You know, they take safe shots. You know, they're trying to weather the storm here to get back into it.
Intercepted by Bryant. Jordan is back with him. Kobe fouled by Michael. And before the shot, no basket.
And when you got the young legs and the young energy, you want to keep pushing. You want to keep forcing the envelope. You don't want to let Chicago rest. Every chance you get, you want to push the ball up court just as LA is doing.
That's the first on Michael. Kobe unleashes a three. Oh, it's there!
See, the Chicago guys are standing around right now. You know, they're tired, you know, on that play right there. Kobe just stepped in bounds with no defensive pressure, lined up a three and drilled it.
Upping the lead to 22. Harper gets swatted in the face inadvertently by Kobe Bryant as he pulls in the rebound.
I mean, when you look at the body language, it says it all. You know, LA is lively. You know, Chicago's a little fatigued. And they want to keep pushing, you know. That's what Dale was a little afraid of when we talked to him yesterday. He was concerned about his team having the type of energy to sustain it for 4 quarters. They've been able to do that so far.
After the foul on Bryant, Chicago ball from the side. Harper's okay, he stays in, he wheels around Fisher, bounces to Pippen. Longley with Shaq getting a hand in his face, and Luke misses. Bryant can't make it 2 in a row.
Shaq wanted the lob on that play running down. But see, that was a kill. You know, Eddie Jones had a choice, either go to Shaq for the lob or Kobe Bryant for the 3. That right now they're trying to embarrass Chicago.
Michael slows LA's momentum at least a little, and he's got 28. Here's Blunt finding Jones. Another potential dagger as he sticks the 3 in there.
You know, when we talked to Shaq yesterday, he pulled me to the side and he said, Isaiah, you know, how do you win championships in this league? You know, I'm a young guy. How do you go about doing it? And what I told Shaq was that, hey, it takes a long time. You know, you have to keep your eye on the prize. You have to keep working and working, and you're not going to get it, you know, in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. You got to keep pushing, and you got to stay focused, and you got to concentrate. Shaq has that type of discipline and that concentration out there today. The question is, can he get the other 11 guys on his team to have the same focus and concentration and discipline that he has to bring it for 5-6 more years?
Outscored so far in this quarter, 29-10. Chicago asked for time. If you were starting a team right now and considering present and especially future ability, 2 of the 5 you take might be Shaq and Kobe, and we talked with Shaquille O'Neal about that.
Throughout the history of basketball, every great team always had a 1-2 punch. Isaiah and Lambert, Magic and Kareem, Bird and McHale, and I think myself and Kobe Bryant will become our 1-2 punch. You know, he has a great heart, great scoring ability. You know, he could do a lot of things. He plays good defense, and I think that, you know, we're going to be the future. He's 19. I'm still young. I'm only 25. And I think that, you know, that's our 1-2 punch.
And as we come back, Longley is rejected. Bryant comes down the other way and misses on the run.
But see, that's where the youth comes in of Kobe Bryant. You know, you had a fast break there where he could have dished it off. He wanted to make the spectacular play to play for the crowd. But as he gets older, he'll learn to make those plays and dish that off because he'll understand the game a lot better.
Pippen traveled as he came through the lane, but you're right. Bryant had 2 teammates on his left and tried to take it in alone the last time. Do you agree with Shaq about that 1-2 punch into the future?
Oh, I definitely agree with him. You know, no other team has, you know, 2 young superstars that you want to come out and see. You know, both these guys can sell out the arena. You know, when Shaq goes on the road, he can sell it out just like Jordan does.
Here's Eldon Campbell in the doghouse a bit of late. Didn't play in the first half. Hits the jump hook for his first field goal of the afternoon. Pippen to Randy Brown from 20. It's long. Rebound fought for, and eventually Blunt has it. The Lakers, believe it or not, by 25. Jones around Jordan and missing. But Blunt keeps it alive for Los Angeles. Pippen on Bryant. Jordan has Jones. Bryant over Scotty. And that one is short. Is he pushing it a bit too much, pressing here?
No, right now, you know, he's trying to find his game, you know. Even though he's 19 years old and he does all these beautiful and wonderful things, he's still trying to find his game in the NBA. He's still learning. So every time he gets it, you know, he has to try to, you know, push the envelope and find something new to do. You know, in business, you know, what he's learning, what he's doing now, he's doing his due diligence. You know, he's learning how to win. He's doing his homework. And every chance he gets to go up against a Jordan, that's his due diligence. He's doing his homework.
That was Bryant's 3rd foul. One of 4 Laker All-Stars, the last team to put 4 into an All-Star game, the 83 76ers. Dr. J, Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks, and Andrew Tillman. The last time the Lakers did it, 62. Baylor, West, Frank Selby, and Rudy LaRusso. 1 of 2 for Michael. Bryant into the lane, and he was fouled. The basket would have counted had it dropped. Tonight on NBC, a movie for the entire family. Chevy Chase is getting ready to marry Farrah Fawcett, but not if her son has his way. Jonathan Taylor Thomas co-stars in the network premiere of the comedy Man of the House at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on NBC tonight. Another one coming for Kobe. who had 33 the last time he faced Michael and the Bulls, on 12 of 20 shooting, including 3 3-pointers at the United Center in December. That's still his career high, and this is his second season straight out of high school in the NBA. Again, a 25-point Laker lead. The Bulls have 11 points in this quarter. Jordan against Bryant. Rattles in and out. And a whistle off the rebound. A Chicago foul. Jason Caffey picks it up.
Now, we get a shot at Phil Jackson here. You know, he's seen it all. When you look at that Chicago bench, you know, it's like a law firm. You know, they got Jackson, you know, Tex Winters. You know, those guys have been sitting over there for a long time. They got like 100 years of experience. So, you know, those guys there, they've seen it all. You know, everything that you wanted to see in basketball, you know, they've seen it before.
Frank Hamlin, Jimmy Rogers, Jackson, and Winters left to right.
That's what makes Chicago so special. You know, they've been through the wars. They know how to win. They know how to take losses like these.
So, well, they don't have to take many like these. And this is the way it's gone. Campbell misses, and they get the ball back.
No, but if you can think back, Bob, and you can remember how Boston and LA used to play against each other, how we used to play against Chicago. Every time you would meet,
Bryant with a long three that's no good, and Randy Brown has it.
Every time you would meet on the road like this, you'd probably end up getting a blowout because you would set yourself up for the championship game. You know, LA and Boston used to come and play against each other. You know, and the East played against the West. You know, they'd come and play against each other. And one out of 2 times each year, one of those teams would get blown out.
The ball out of bounds to the Lakers off the Jordan miss. Los Angeles lost last weekend at Seattle. They were embarrassed at home here on Wednesday night by the Nets as Keith Van Horn dropped 30 on them. They had to struggle to beat Minnesota on Friday, and they come out here, especially in this third quarter, and they're just all over the Bulls.
That's youth. That's, you know, the inexperience brings on the inconsistency.
Trying to add to a 25-point lead as the third quarter draws to a close. Eldon Campbell over Caffey. They're up by 27. A delay of game warning there for the ball being knocked away after the basket. And the Bulls will put it in play with 4.8 seconds to go. Brown will have to push it up. Burrell. Bushler almost banked it in. A 34-11 quarter for the Lakers. 10 of the points in the period belonging to All-Star Eddie Jones. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC. The Lakers shot 64% in the third quarter to 26% for the Bulls. LA is at 56% overall for the game. And leading by 27 as we prepare to start the fourth. Now, Chicago is playing the 4th of 6 games in a 9-day stretch on a West Coast road trip. They go from here to Denver, then conclude their business prior to the All-Star game Wednesday against the Jazz, and maybe, given the 27-point deficit, it's time to rest some folks in the fourth. Bushler, Randy Brown, Scott Burrell, Bill Wennington, and Jason Caffey. Not exactly the A-team out there right now for Phil Jackson. Wennington turns and shoots and misses as we start the fourth. Ball out of bounds to the Lakers, who open the final period with Fisher and Jones in the backcourt. Campbell up front with Fox and Bennett.
When your team is playing this well, as LA is playing well right now, you want to keep your starters in for a little longer because you want to let them get their rhythm. You know, forget about, you know, what the time of the game is, what the score of the game is. You want to get your starters in so they can keep that rhythm that they were starting to develop.
Chicago is 21-2 at home this year. But if they lose this one, as appears likely, they'll be 500 at 12-12 on the road. Here is Fisher into the lane, finding Campbell, and Campbell goes up but can't put the slam through. And here comes Burrell. Burrell out of the corner. It's a two-point basket for him. 91-66.
You know, Eldon Campbell was a guy that drove Magic Johnson crazy, just gave him fits, you know, because he couldn't figure him out. You know, one day he'd show up and he'd play with all types of intensity, and then he'd turn around and, you know, he wouldn't give it to you.
Fox drills a three, giving him 23. And now this is the game's biggest lead. The Lakers by 28. Caffey against Bennett, who fouled him.
Foul number 23, Mario Bennett. Second personal.
You know, Campbell frees himself up here. He makes the right play, he makes the cut, and he elevates, but he doesn't finish. And that's the thing that drove Magic Johnson crazy, and it's also driving Dale Harris crazy right now because, you know, you can't figure the guy out. You don't know if he's here today or if he's gone tomorrow.
With Shaq out, Campbell averaged more than 16 points and more than 7 rebounds a game, but he's had difficulty finding any kind of groove coming off the bench.
Well, he needs to learn how to play when Shaq is in because Shaq's not going anywhere.
Caffey hits them both, 94-68. When people compare Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan and talk about Kobe being the next Michael, and of course that's extravagant. No matter whom you're talking about, there'll never be another Michael Jordan any more than there'll be another Elvis Presley or Babe Ruth or Muhammad Ali. Wennington back with it. But one huge difference is if Bryant and Shaq remain teammates, how in the world is Kobe Bryant, even though he's not the least bit bashful, how is he going to average 25, 26 shots a game as Michael Jordan has for a good portion of his career when Shaquille O'Neal takes more shots than almost anybody else in the league?
Well, and Shaquille should take the most shots. You know, I think what people are really excited about is the potential that Kobe has. You know, he can do a lot of things, and he's exciting. You know, people want to come to the game. They want to buy their tickets. They want to, you know, get their hot dogs and their popcorn, and they want to be entertained. And that's what Kobe Bryant is. He's an entertainer.
The officials letting them play, but eventually a whistle is blown, and we'll sort it all out when we come back after the timeout. Clyde Drexler, a contemporary of Michael Jordan's, has been quoted as saying that at age 19, Kobe Bryant is more advanced than Michael was at the same stage. Of course, he's in the NBA, and Michael was still at North Carolina. What do you think, Steve? Loose ball that Rick Fox chases down. Eddie Jones can't finish it. Randy Brown. Caffey puts it back in for the Bulls. Go ahead.
I think Kobe has a better understanding about the whole entertainment package probably than any of us had at age 19. And I think that goes back to his dad because his dad understands the NBA and it prepared him well for the ups and downs of NBA life. And then he has Jerry West here also as a mentor to talk to him about winning basketball, championship basketball, not just coming into this league and settling for just being a player in this league. Kobe wants to win championships.
So Michael Jordan will be 35 in a month, getting much the better of it individually today against Kobe Bryant. Scott Burrell with 3, but in terms of the outcome that matters most, it's all Los Angeles still in front by 21. Derek Fisher, a good player whose time is generally limited by the presence of Jones and Van Exel and Bryant, all All-Stars. Fisher has had a good game today with Van Exel joining Robert Horry in street clothes, injured on the Laker bench. Ahmad's got something else on Kobe. Go ahead, Ahmad.
All right, Bob, you know, another thing very important to Kobe was his friendship with Eddie Jones. When Eddie Jones was at Temple, Kobe was in high school. They got together then, and they are like two brothers. Kobe says that Eddie is like his big brother, and it was nice to come out and play on a team and have a guy like that he could hang out. That made it more comfortable for him to be in the NBA at his early age. Bob?
Wennington's jumper is off. Eddie Jones with the rebound.
See, you can see it all around Kobe. He has a support system, you know, of teaching him how to handle Los Angeles. You know, a lot of guys can come out to Los Angeles and get their mind blown at 19, but he's been able to sustain it because he's got the support system of his father and also Eddie Jones.
Potential three-point play for the Bulls as Caffey muscled his way through and drew the foul. Bryant back off the bench. Next Sunday on NBC, Ahmad Rashad and Willow Bay host an Inside Stuff All-Star special from New York. The Nets' Jason Williams shares his very first All-Star experience, plus WNBA stars Ruthie Bolton-Holyfield and Cynthia Cooper are on location in Manhattan. That's an Inside Stuff All-Star special next Sunday, 1:30 Eastern on NBC.
Is that the MVP, Cynthia Cooper?
That would be correct, of the Houston Comets.
Hey, one of the funniest signs that I've seen in a long time when the WNBA was playing in the finals, they had a sign up in the Houston Summit that said, Cynthia Cooper, you are the man.
Well, we understand the intention. Intended as a compliment.
Oh, that was the highest compliment that she probably could ever be paid, you know, because, you know, she transcends. She's crossed over.
Up by 20, the Lakers with the ball.
Crowd wanted Shaq to shoot the three.
He hasn't attempted a three all season. He'll take one from Moore in his range here, and he's fouled.
You know, Shaq's one of those guys who has a lot of nicknames. You know, when you're real good in this league, they give you a lot of nicknames. Like he's Shaq Daddy. You know, he's a man of steel. You know, he's kind of everything. But the funniest nickname that Shaq has is the one that my daughter calls him. She calls him Shaquille Oatmeal. She can't get O'Neal out.
Now there's another endorsement possibility for Shaq.
But see, I love everything about Shaq. You know, he's got the total package. You know, people talk about the money sometimes that guys get, but this guy's worth every dime that he gets because every single night, you know, he brings it to you.
6 of 10 at the line now for Shaq. Michael back in. If he follows through on his stated intention to make this his final year, this could be the last game he ever plays in this building and in this city for that matter. Shaq misses the second. And another whistle for a foul. They've already played the Clippers in Los Angeles this year, and Michael had 49 in a double overtime win in November. Unless these two teams meet in the finals, this is Michael's last appearance for this year and maybe ever at the Forum. 6:59 left. I will step aside for a moment. Michael Jordan equaling his season average to this point, but not getting enough help. The Lakers up by 21 and cruising here in the fourth. Go ahead.
So you talked about Jordan retiring. You know, I hope he doesn't. You know, this is one guy that I would like to see play basketball forever. And I really can't see why he would want to leave the game of basketball. You know, he's still the best player playing. He leads the league in scoring. He's the most exciting draw that there is in any sport. You know, maybe you can talk about he and Tiger Woods, but, you know, when I look at Jordan, you know, if he's thinking about retiring, you know, I think he may cheat himself because the 2 years that he was away from basketball, I really thought it helped him and he found the love again for the game.
Corey Blunt missed them both. Of course, he doesn't face the situation you faced where injuries and other circumstances perhaps pushed you toward retirement.
Yeah, but, you know,
a three for Michael that's no good.
you know, he gets a chance to do it on his own terms, you know. When you look at myself, Magic, Bird, you know, the great players of that era, we had to leave because of injuries or other reasons, you know. But when you look at Jordan, he has a chance to really go out on his own terms. And I would hope that he would play basketball for as long as he possibly can, so he never has to sit back and wonder if he left too early.
Well, of course, he stated what his terms are. He doesn't want to play for anyone other than Phil Jackson. He doesn't want to go to another team. It has to be in Chicago. Jackson told us a few weeks ago he sees no possible scenario whereby he would coach the Bulls next year. And maybe Jordan wants to leave at the very peak. So far, he hasn't contradicted his statement at the beginning of the year that this is the last go-round. There's probably some wiggle room, but he hasn't said anything to the contrary. And there is Bryant reminding us that just in case Michael goes, there'll still be some excitement left in the NBA.
Well, I hope Chicago doesn't do what, you know, we did in Detroit when you break it up too early. We had, you know, I thought we had a great basketball team. And, you know, as long as these guys are playing well, they should keep them together. And you got Kobe coming down doing his Jordan imitation, the scoop. You know, he comes down and he gives them the up fake, up and under, finger roll off the glass. See, that's called the low finger roll.
He had a reverse slam off an alley-oop Friday against the Timberwolves that just rocked the forum.
Well, he's exciting, you know, and that's what the fans like. When you come to a basketball game, you want to look at Kobe Bryant and say, hey, I know I'm going to see something tonight that I probably have never seen in basketball. You know, that's why the fans compare him to Michael Jordan, because every time you step out on the court, Michael Jordan gives you something special and something that you probably haven't seen before.
Michael now with 31. But the Bulls down by 21. Rick Fox to Corey Blunt. Hammered by Klein. Burrell was also there. As you know, the All-Star game a week from tonight from Madison Square Garden in New York. The best in the world will be there. Is it Michael's last All-Star appearance? Could be. Let's take a look at the lineups. Well, after this first free throw, we will. We'll show you the starting lineups. The East squad: Mutombo, Hill, Kemp, Jordan, and Hardaway. And Tim Hardaway a little bit upset that Anthony Hardaway comes back just in time to start the game. Tim might have gotten the start if Penny's injury had lingered a bit longer. And there was a brief look at the five who will open it for the West, including Kobe Bryant, voted a starter, although he's his own team's sixth man. Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. Bryant is on him. MJ over him. Blunt with the rebound.
See, I love playing in the All-Star game. It was the ultimate playground game.
Speaking of playground, Kobe goes behind the back and then drops it through.
See, it's showtime now in the Forum. You know, that's what Magic was so good at doing. He put on the show. When the game got out of hand, he knew how to put on the show, and that's what Kobe wants to do.
Klein from MJ. Up by 25, back come the Lakers. The Bulls lost 99-72 earlier this year at Miami. That's their worst defeat. This could rival it or surpass it. Shaquille is fouled by Paul.
You got Kobe behind the back, reversed, off the glass. See, he brings him baseline, and then he stops, shift, takes it behind his back. Pippen goes by him, and then he goes up real with a nice little soft touch. I know his daddy didn't teach him that move because Joe Jellybean Bryant didn't have that.
Well, the Bulls lost in Seattle this year, although they did beat the Sonics rather convincingly at the United Center. The Jazz came into Chicago last week and won there. And they'll get another crack at the Bulls on Wednesday in Salt Lake City. Now, the Lakers have put a beating on them here today. These are teams that potentially could come out of the West and potentially, assuming Chicago makes it that far, and that's a big assumption. Indiana has a shot at them, Miami, and maybe a few others. But if the Bulls should meet any of those clubs in the finals, I would think that little bit of success, even just in a game or two, would matter to those Western Conference teams. Pippen banks it in.
Well, that type of success definitely gives you confidence in the regular season, but when you match up against these guys in the playoffs, the thing that really kills you is not their physical skills, but their mental skills. They're the smartest team in basketball, and to beat them in a 7-game series is going to be tough for anybody.
Burrell got a steal, but then couldn't convert on his 2 chances at the hoop. Coming up to 4 minutes to play in a 25-point blowout. Blunt lost the dribble, but Pippen made some contact with it, so it still belongs to the Lakers.
This is why you got to love Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You know, they're down 25 points on the road. With 3 minutes to go, they've won everything that you can win in basketball, but yet those 2 guys are still out playing pressure defense because they love the game.
Timeout Lakers, and we'll be back. Check that. We're staying here. It's only a 20-second timeout. Let's go back to the game in December. We were talking about this earlier. In December, they were talking quite a bit while standing next to each other as free throws were taken. And the same thing going on here. Let's see what happens.
Well, Kobe's a smart player, you know, and what he's trying to do right now is he wants to touch Michael Jordan. He wants to feel him. You know, he wants to know that he's human, and he doesn't want Michael to think that he's backing down from the challenge. However, he respects him, and he wants to get close enough to him so he can rob him of his knowledge. Kobe Bryant is trying to steal Michael Jordan's game, not only physically, but mentally. You know, he's been taught well. He's been schooled well. You know, he's got the best in Jerry West here, you know, his dad and Jelly Bean, you know, and Eddie Jones. You know, he surrounded himself with a great support system.
Fisher to inbound. 5 on the 24. Shaq. Got to get rid of it. Missing. Pippen the rebound. Trying to find Caffey, who gathers it in and misses, but he's coming to the line. Now, here's an obvious difference between Michael and Kobe. Michael did as much as anybody to popularize the shaved head look. Now along comes Kobe. He says, hey, I'm growing it out. It might not be the 70s, might not be quite to that extent, but I got a little afro going here.
Yeah, he does. But, you know, the thing that really, you know, makes these 2 guys that when I talk about them, you know, I get a smile on my face is because they love to play. I mean, they love to play basketball. You know, you see Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen out here in a game that they know they have no chance at winning, but they're competing just as hard. You know, you look at the sweat dripping down his face. You know, those guys love to play, and that's what the young guys coming into the league, some of them lack. They don't have the sheer love for the game.
Derek Fisher. Kobe out of the corner. Pippen up on him. Fires over it and hits.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Bryant is up to 20 now. He had 8 in the first half. Burrell, way short. Pippen picks it up and is fouled. When you look at what Rick Fox has done the last couple of games, Robert Horry has been struggling even before being sidelined by an injury. One of the questions for the Lakers, and there's Horry on the Laker bench. And a big hand for Kobe Bryant as he goes out, likely not to return with 3:03 remaining. When you look at the forwards in the West, the Vin Bakers and Denton Trents in Seattle, Karl Malone and Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley when he's healthy, the Lakers are going to have to get good forward play from Fox and from Horry if they're to advance in the playoffs.
See, I think their problem is not at the forward position, but I think their problem is going to be at the point guard position. You know, what happens when Nick Van Exel comes back? You know, this team goes as he goes. You know, the point guard is a direct extension from the coach, and he and the coach has to be on the same page. At times, he and Dale Harris have had their battles and they've not been on the same page. But if your coach and your point guard is not thinking the same way, you have absolutely no shot at winning the NBA championship.
Burrell drills one from the head of the key after Fox's basket, which gave him 25. 12 points for Burrell. The game was decided in the first 5-6 minutes of the third quarter.
You know, that was a kill time that LA picked up on that. You know, they came out, you know, in the second half, you know, they watched some film at halftime. They came out in the second half. They made their adjustments. They kept the intensity. They kept the energy. And a lot of times you can win games in the first or second quarter.
John Barry with a rainbow that doesn't draw iron. The ball out of bounds to Chicago with 1:57 to play. The Lakers by 25. Shaq describes them as the league's future 1-2 punch, buffing his bicep as we come back out of the commercial. And they've certainly had their way with the Bulls today. They scored the first 15 points of the third quarter, outscored Chicago 34-11 in the period, turning a close game, just a 4-point lead at halftime, into a blowout.
Well, Shaq and I talked about yesterday, you know, they're learning how to kill, you know, they're learning the sense when to put on the spurts, when to put on the momentum. And that's what's going to make them a great team if they can stay together and mature together. You know, Chicago knows when to kill. LA has to know when to kill. Sometimes it can be in the first quarter, sometimes it can be in the second quarter, or at the end of the game. You got to hang around long enough and know when to apply the mental edge.
Sean Rooks in the game for the first time will be coming to the free throw line. Veteran from Arizona. Just about everybody getting a chance to play today. And the Lakers doing it without the injured Van Exel and Ori.
Now, what Sean Rooks is you know, he's a scorer. You know, he can put some points on the board in the low post. You know, when that time when Shaq was out and Eldon Campbell was out, you know, Sean Rooks came in and gave him steady center play. LA is fortunate to have Shaquille, Eldon Campbell, and a guy like Sean Rooks that you can throw in, and he can get you 15, 16 points if he was to play, you know, 18, 19, 20 minutes sometimes.
Bushler into Joe Klein. Klein into the lane with the left-hand hook that's no good.
And Joe Klein would never give you 20 points.
And he couldn't get him two that time. Ball deflected out of bounds, and it belongs to the Lakers.
When we were playing Boston in the playoffs, Joe Klein and I went out to dinner one time, and I was so afraid of him because just the look on his face, we were sitting across eating dinner, and he never smiles. He always looks like he's in pain.
Eddie Jones driving and fouled as he makes his move to the basket. So Jones will have a chance for his 20th and 21st points. Rick Fox leading the Lakers with 25. Shaq has 24. Kobe came alive in the second half, 20. Corey Blunt very quietly with 13 rebounds.
He did a nice job coming in. You know, we look at Eddie Jones here. When I was in Detroit, you know, we were playing a game, and he came to the game because Mark Macon was a teammate of his. And he walked into the locker room in the dead of winter wearing his gym shoes, had on a pair of old pants, and I just felt so bad for him that I gave him $200. So when I seen him yesterday, I asked him, did he have my money?
And?
Of course he said no.
Scott Burrell's basket gave him 15. Things just a tad ragged at the end in the final half minute of the game. Eddie Jones into a crowd, can't hit the reverse. Klein has it. Burrell trying to add to his point total. Another chance for him. Missing the three. Last 7 seconds.
Now you want to try to finish it up here with some type of dunk.
Bennett got fouled by Bushler on a play that seemed to unfold in slow motion. Scottie Pippen has had a very quiet 13 points. Dennis Rodman sat out a long portion of the second half. He had 15 rebounds. He didn't score a point.
But he did his job. His job is to rebound. You know, the game got out of hand early in the second half.
By the way, Dennis Leary has a line in the movie Wag the Dog. He says, I'm going to tell Rodman to turn his hair into some kind of leopard deal, a leopard skin deal. But Rodman says he'd already done it before he heard about the movie. In this case, art imitating life. So that does it. The Lakers by 25, 112 to 87. Ahmad will talk with Kobe Bryant when we come back.
Ahmad Rashad back in L.A. with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Now, a lot was said before this game, like this wasn't a statement game, it's just another game. But you guys did make a statement that you guys are no joke.
We just wanted to be the great Bulls team at home. And, you know, a lot of times Kobe gets credit and I get credit. But today, I think Corey Blunt and Mario Bennett was our inspiration. You know, those guys never get much playing time, but they came in, they rebounded the ball well, and we just did what we were supposed to do, win at home.
And Kobe, you know, there's so much made about the matchup between you and Michael Jordan, the heir apparent. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, tonight I just really wanted to come out and play hard against him, and you know, I played a lot with my emotions. And I just needed to relax and let the game come to me a little bit. But you know, it's a learning experience, and I love matching up with Mike. And it's a great challenge for me.
All right, I will see both of you in New York next weekend. We'll have an all-star time. All right?
You know it. Love you, mommy. Love you, Jackie. Love you, mommy.
All right, back to you, Bob.
All right, Ahmad. One more commercial break, and Isaiah Thomas will rejoin us. We'll wrap things up from the Great Western Forum in a minute. Michael Jordan leaving the Great Western Forum floor, the place where he and the Bulls won the first of their 5 world championships. Michael exiting for perhaps the last time as an active player in the NBA. This might have been his last trip to LA to play the Lakers. Once again, the final, the Lakers take it 112 to 87. Next Sunday, the 48th NBA All-Star Game. And tonight on NBC, a movie double feature at 7, Chevy Chase and Farrah Fawcett in Man of the House, then Yasmin Bleeth in an NBC world premiere movie, The Lake. For Ahmad Rashad and Isaiah Thomas, I'm Bob Costas. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.